From the hosts that brought you Decoding Westworld
and Westworld the Recapables
comes the Ringer Prestige TV podcast on Westworld.
I'm Joanna Robinson.
I'm Danny Heifetz.
And I'm David Shoemaker.
Welcome to Westworld Season 4 in the Prestige TV podcast feed, where we're going to break down every episode of Westworld Season 4.
Every Monday, the day after the show comes out on the Prestige TV podcast feed.
Wherever you get your podcasts, but get them on Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. All right, it's official. I think I've discovered the ultimate coupling of all time. Like any good relationship, they really balance each other out. One is super sweet, and the other, well, they can be a little nutty sometimes. It is, of course, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. So perfect, some would call it true love. Find Reese's now at a store near you. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms.
Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. I am joined today by second-time guest, Erin Foster. Hi, Erin.
Back by popular demand or just by an open slot?
By demand.
Okay, great.
You know, yeah, I mean, certainly demand for me. I was really excited about it. I've been bugging your assistant, so I'm delighted you're here. Thanks to
Montana's
for
always
setting it up.
She's always fending off all the requests.
You are busy. Don't pretend you're not. Erin, we've got two bachelorettes.
We do.
And lots of questions about how this is going to go down. Don't ask Jesse Palmer for answers. He clearly doesn't have any.
I mean, it's like, I wonder why they don't try to make that role a little bit more spicy. Like, it's such a nothing role. What is the point of even having someone in that role?
It's a really good question. I don't know. I thought that, like, maybe with him in that spot, they would have him be a little bit more of like a sort of like fatherly presence, the way that Chris Harrison was towards the end of his tenure. But it's kind of a waste. I'm like obsessed with Jesse, but as I think about it, I'm not really sure why. How do you feel about him?
I feel nothing about him, honestly. I mean, he's handsome. He seems nice. I don't know. I mean, it just kind of, he ends up kind of looking like a lot of the guys. So I think it's a little confusing.
Yes.
But
so he hasn't left a mark for you.
He doesn't really do anything for me. If they fired him tomorrow, I'd be like, oh, okay, who's next? You know? But but you know what? I don't dislike him, which for me is important, you know?
Yeah, definitely agree. I think I like the fact that he's like a host. I also find it funny that he's like, I have no idea what's going on. Maybe I'm just like drinking the Kool-Aid, but I kind of believe it. I feel like he has no idea.
Whenever they come to him, they're like, what do we do? This thing's happened. He's like, you can do whatever you want to do. Like,
it's up to you. It's your journey.
He doesn't really have any input, but I guess it's just a kind of a filler role, and he's likable, and honestly, like, if we're being real, they probably just wanted someone not offensive, not going to say anything wrong, not going to get canceled or get in trouble, and he's riding that vanilla boat that they want him to be on.
Yeah, it's definitely vanilla. I mean, I know why I'm obsessed with him. It's because I interviewed him over Google Hangouts, and he has the most beautiful eyes. I mention it basically every opportunity I get. Like, I'll never forget his green eyes.
Did you guys have chemistry?
No, I think he has chemistry with everyone. He did like that. You know, he's a football guy, and I follow sports pretty closely, so I was able to talk to him about sports and not just The Bachelor. So he liked that. But that's not really chemistry. I can tell you from a lifetime of dating as a woman who likes sports, it does not chemistry make. So
yeah, guys don't don't really care. Although,
it's not something they're looking to share. They're just like, tolerate this quietly. Thank you.
It's kind of like our girl stuff. You know, we want our guys to tolerate it, but we don't really want them to be generating it, you know?
Yeah.
Although my husband is like a psychotic sports fan. It's like deeply permeates every cell in his being. And I, this last year, decided to embrace basketball season and
great.
the Warriors. And I got to say, he really liked it and it meant a lot to him. So,
that's really nice. Well, the Warriors are pretty hard to hate. Also, Klay Thompson is my favorite basketball player.
Isn't he so cute?
Yeah, I've been obsessed with him for a really long time. There was a rumor when he was in college that he was on an allowance because he got busted for having weed and like his parents put on an allowance afterwards. I don't think that's true, but I just thought it was so funny that I became obsessed with him. And now he's really good at basketball. So I feel very vindicated.
So you invested early before he was a thing. Well, the moment last year, and people who are listening to this to listen to The Bachelor definitely do not want to hear us talk about sports, but last year when Klay got injured and he like walked off the court with a torn ACL, and then you watched him in the tunnel be like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going back out there. And he went back out there. I literally like looked to my husband and I was like, I'll leave you for him right now. I am in love with him. Me and my sister Sarah and our girlfriend Jen Meyer, we were all like, we have romantic feelings for this person.
He's the best. I love him. We can move on in a second, but I just want to say he would be a great like Bachelor guest, like or on a date or whatever, because also he has a boat. And I think like my ideal Bachelor date would be Klay Thompson like driving around the couple around San Francisco Bay, because he's like really into his boat and boat life.
You know what? I feel like
hilarious.
they don't use boats enough on The Bachelor. Maybe like the sound is difficult.
It's coming up. They're going to a cruise ship when they go to Europe. So.
I saw that. So
it's coming.
Oh, you know what? Sorry. Last time I like interviewed you, so I'm not gonna guide.
Feel free. I know it's hard. When you're used to hosting, you just feel really like out of sorts when you're not driving the pod. So it's fine.
It's okay. I'm gonna
whatever feels good.
I'll release control.
It's okay. So how are you feeling about 2 Bachelorettes so far? It's just like, I need to know everyone's take. Everyone I discussed the Bachelorette with, I'm like, what do you think about having 2 gals?
So I've had, when I first watched the first episode, the first half of it was really boring, I thought. And I like all the introductions was just too many guys. I was lost. And, the girls weren't like giving strong takes on anything. By the second episode, I'm now really, really into the idea. I'm scared about it because you can see how quickly this is going to spiral out of control.
Yeah. It's going to go bad.
It's like a fucked up science experiment or like social experiment, watching 2 women who genuinely like each other and are like nice girls and supportive of each other, like be forced to be turned on each other for guys.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and the
way
that they're like clearly going to start analyzing themselves and comparing themselves to each other. It's like every girl's nightmare is a guy looking at them and being like, I like your friend. It's really scary. I'm like, I have like anxiety watching it, just like how it would make me feel if a guy was like, let me be clear, I'm not here for you.
Yeah, when Michael Bublé said that to Rachel at the beginning of their date, I just call him Michael Bublé.
Oh, I was like, wait, Michael Bublé's on the show? Okay,
sorry,
wait.
no.
The race car driver?
No, the one who said to her, I'm here for Gabby at he said to Rachel, I'm here for Gabby. Come on, he looks like Michael Bublé. I know that Michael Bublé very famously sang one of your dad's songs, so it's probably weird for me to say that. But
yeah, it's really weird for you to talk about my close personal friends on this podcast.
I happen to love that song, just for the record. I like the Blake Shelton version too.
Yeah, I love that song too. Yeah, I thought that guy is actually really cute, and I felt like he was really overlooked on that date. When he said that, I felt the pain of Rachel being like, fuck, this guy's really cute. And then I was kind of hoping he would get the rose because he seemed like a vibe.
I think he's going to go far. I think he's a sleeper. We've gotten a lot of shots of him. Maybe it's because he's cute, but I think he's going far because we see him he at least gets to leave LA. We see him in some other places, but
it feels like maybe Gabby is getting more attention from the guys this season, right?
I can't tell. I discussed this with my co-host on Mondays, Callie.
Please don't talk about your other co-hosts when I'm on the pod.
I'm so sorry, Erin. I just gotta tell you, I'm not here for you. I'm here for Callie.
Never do that again.
I can't tell who's getting more attention. I'm really biased pro Gabby. Like I'm a Gabby gal.
Well, listen, we've talked about this. There's not been a lot of girls that have a good sense of humor on this show. And I love that there's a girl who's like properly funny. Like she is like dry, sarcastic, and like genuinely funny. Like she would do stand up and like do a great job. She's like funny and just like weird and quirky, and I'm just into her whole vibe. And I think she's so beautiful and she has such a rockin' bod. And I was a little bummed. I mean, listen, I so get how it happens, but I feel like before the show, everyone gets like fresh injections, or like new injections that they've never had before. And I really missed like last season, Gabby.
Her previous face.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. It's hard. I feel really mixed about it. It obviously comes up a lot with reality TV, especially if you watch Housewives. Really, all the Bravo world freshening up is constant.
Well, one is that things look different on TV than they do in real life. So in real life, maybe you think that it looks good and natural, and then like harsh lighting and a camera can really bring
4K
attention.
Technology is not kind of cosmetic enhancements.
And then I also think, I would go as far as to say I know that the same amount of injections can look really different on every single person. So someone can do a little zhuzh and it looks just like brightens up their face and it looks nice and natural. Then someone else can do it and it looks like really fake and really weird on them, because all of our faces are so different and people have different thicknesses to their skin, and like you can handle different amounts. You can see when girls get lip injections and it looks so weird and so like misshapen, and then other times where you're like, that looks great. If I knew it was going to look like that, then maybe I would try it. So I think sometimes it sucks for girls who don't realize they're doing like a little amount or the same as everyone else, and it just looks weirder on them.
Also, I have to assume Gabby hasn't had this type of television exposure before, at least not that I'm aware of.
Definitely
so to your point, she probably didn't know like what was going to look good on camera and what's not going to.
Absolutely. But aren't these girls really young? How old are they?
Gabby's 31 and Rachel's 26. So
26, you don't need any injections, that's for sure. And 31?
I don't think she got any.
Yeah, honestly, she looks pretty normal.
Yeah. And I just think Gabby looks so smooth to me. It looks like she's been like retouched, but she's, it's not a photo.
But I get it. It's like you're going on TV as a Bachelorette and people say like, oh, I'll zhuzh you up. And you just say, yes, I get it.
I mean, I think she's really hot. Like, as you said, very hot bod. And they're both beautiful girls. Like there's no doubt about it. I like seeing that they genuinely like each other. Like they seem like really caring about each other. And so like that to me is like actually a benefit of this. But, I feel like I'm just like actively pushing away the hurt that will also obviously come. But I just feel like they're both handling it really well so far. Like what Rachel is like, we've seen a bunch of guys be like, I'm here for Gabby, and she's taken it pretty well. I don't think I would take it that well. So
I can confirm. I can confirm I would not take it that well. And I think I agree with you. I think listen, I was looking at their friendship and how excited they were to be doing this together and how on the same page they were and how happy they were for each other. And the moment when Rachel said she was like feeling one of those guys, or maybe
Logan.
Gabby.
Yeah, maybe Logan. It was Rachel.
Okay, Rachel said it and Gabby's like heart sank, but instead of saying anything, it's so easy for that competitive thing to get ignited in you as a girl. And when she's like, we kissed, Gabby could have been like, oh, that's so cute, we kissed too. And be like bitchy, because it's like so hard. It's human nature to like defend all of a sudden the thing that you're excited about. And instead she just like swallowed it and was like, that's really exciting. I'm so happy for you. And that is like, I agree with you, really nice for women watching to be reminded that you can, not maul your best friend over a guy that you met 12 hours ago.
Seriously. Also, I'm pretty positive that guy Logan is going to be a true fuckboy. He just he's got villain vibes. The way he's talking to Rachel, he's clearly so full of shit. I don't like him. I agree. I'm watching him closely. He was
playing both sides. And then the guy that Gabby gave the rose to, what's his name?
Gabby gave her rose to Johnny.
Yeah, I'm like not understanding what these girls are seeing in him. They both think he's cute and I'm like not seeing it.
I think there's a type of person who, well, obviously, personality and presence accounts for a lot. But I think there's a type of like attractive person who is like looks above average on TV, but must look super above average in real life, especially when it comes to reality shows. Because very often I'm like, really, that guy?
Yeah.
But then you see him up close, and you're like, oh, that guy. Okay, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, and I was really kind of happy that. Well, Rachel's being really vulnerable and really real and honest. And I really respect that she's like, I'm scared nobody likes me here and I don't really know where I stand. And so I think both of them are not being like pageanty about it. You know, they're being kind of real. And I do think that Rachel is a much more like wholesome, sweet, kind of good girl.
She's very earnest. And
she is very earnest.
She's like younger. She seems like maybe she hasn't had her heart broken as much as Gabby, who's like hardened by life.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. She's like not like jaded and cynical yet, which is a beautiful thing to watch.
I know. Hold on to it, Rachel. We want you to hold on to it as long as possible.
It'll probably be gone by the end of the season.
Yeah, seriously. I have like a lot more to say about Rachel. So please indulge me as we go down the Rachel path. And I have some questions for you too.
Give it to me.
To that point about her earnestness, what was your take on how she reacted to race car guy that she ended up sending home, whose name I believe is Jordan? She was like freaking out that she wasn't into him. And she was like really worried that she's not deserving of being the Bachelorette. And we see her talking to her producer and she's like, I don't know what to do. I was just like, do you think we missed something? Like, why did she have such a strong reaction?
It definitely felt dramatic to me. I mean, I'm not like a big fan of girls crying like all the time for the same severity, no matter what the situation is, you know? I mean, obviously this guy wasn't like invested at this point. It's the first date ever. So I think he was fine. So I didn't think it needed to be so dramatic. But that being said, I do understand this feeling of like the pressure to be what you think the Bachelorette is, where you're supposed to pick the right person for your first one-on-one, get people invested in a relationship, and she feels like she may have picked wrong, or like, you know how it is in relationships when there's a nice guy. Take a reality show out of it. Just in real life, you go out with a nice guy that's into you, that checks all the boxes, and you don't feel what you thought you would feel or what you think you should feel, and you feel like you have failed, right? Like, what did I do wrong?
You're the problem.
Exactly. Why don't I like this guy? And I'm thinking about the guy that Gabby likes, you know? It's like such a mind fuck. And so I can understand her just feeling a lot of pressure, especially after she was thinking she's not really getting a lot of attention and maybe thinking like, maybe I'm not great at this, which I think is a great layer to have in the show.
Yeah. Actually, it reminds me of the Ben Higgins narrative. They're just like, can Ben be loved? And of course Ben can be loved. But yes, I'm sure Rachel will find love too. I think Ben seems happy.
He's so cute. Who's he with?
Ben. Her name is Jess, and she seems very nice as well. They met via Instagram.
Oh, not from the show. Not from the show.
No. Now they're married. So
he was always
Instagram.
very likable, very cute.
Love Ben. Anyway, another piece of that Rachel date that my friend Sarah mentioned to me.
Okay,
not your sister.
My sister's been texting you about The Bachelorette.
That would be wild, don't you think?
Yeah, considering she's never watched it.
About to say, I wasn't aware of that, but anyway, Rachel unilaterally sends him home. Do you think there's a different, like, what are the rules? Like, do you think she decided that on the fly? Do you think that she and Gabby decided that Jordan, the drag car racer, is only for Rachel? Like, why was she able to do that? Very confusing.
I was confused when she decided to send him home. I was like, wait, so Gabby doesn't get to decide if she wants him there either? I don't know how it works. I don't think they know how it works either.
I agree. I think there's no rules.
I feel like I could imagine Gabby being like, sorry, what? You sent that guy home? Like, I was feeling that guy and now he left and you made an executive decision on that?
No.
You know?
Gabby must have said like, yeah, I'm not interested. Go for it. I feel like he seemed maybe too short for Gabby.
Yeah. I honestly, he just felt too innocent. He was lacking an edge. And by the way, maybe if she got to know him better, he would have that edge. But I also think it's really kind of funny that when people build up this like really emotional moment to tell you that their parents got divorced. And like, by the way, I'm a kid of like 15 divorces. Okay. They can absolutely be traumatic, but they're really common. And so whenever somebody like gets really emotional and like the punchline is my parents got divorced, I'm just like, do you think that's unique? I mean, all of our parents are divorced.
He must have been told to say that because I had the exact same thought. And then I was like, and my parents are still together. So I'm like, what do I know? But I was just like, did someone tell him to play that up? So like, there was like, is it that nothing else interesting about him and like nothing else to discuss? Because he didn't really seem like he could move the conversation anywhere. I think he just seemed really probably boring in the end.
Yeah. I honestly felt bad for him though when she left him waiting and he was just sitting there like not knowing what to do. Because you know, like she asked him on the date and he's on the date that she asked him to be on, and he's just sitting there like, you know, probably assuming he's about to get dumped, and it was sad watching him there.
they should get a phone for times like those. Like, you can't be on your phone all the time, but like in the 10 minutes when the lead has left you by yourself and there's nothing to do, like they should be given like a Mad Libs or like a game of like Sudoku or just like anything to pass the time or something like that.
I always think about like when we used to go out to dinner on a date or with a friend and they'd go to the bathroom and like there's a line at the bathroom, so they're gone for like 10 minutes. What did we used to do if we weren't looking at our phones? Like we would just like look around the room and take it all in and like think. Now it's like so embarrassing.
How old were you when you got your first phone?
I was 16 or 17. And I was like, I think a senior, and it was like the Nokia that had Snake.
The brick with the snake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was just going to say, like, I've been playing Snake. I remember playing Snake in high school. Like, I got my first phone when I was 13. So I had almost no alone time, you know?
Right.
Like,
oh yeah, you didn't have that. But here's the thing, there were so many generations until you were like at BlackBerry Messenger where you could like constantly be on it, and you weren't, and Instagram didn't come around, and that was like the real kicker, you know, where you really feel like you have to stare at your phone all day long. Didn't come till so much later. So I don't know.
I wish BBM still existed, because
I know that
sharing your pin was like pretty big. Like, oh, you want to swap pins so we can BBM? That was a big deal.
It really was. I know people were. It's weird when things get discontinued and like phased out that unanimously everyone loves. Unanimously?
My BlackBerry Curve, my 2009 BlackBerry, the like silver one, that was like not really for, it was the first time it was like not really for work. And it was just sort of like a fun phone. That was the best phone I ever had. I remember I broke it one New Year's Eve and I was devastated. It was just like such a great phone. I miss BBM. Great way to communicate.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jordan deserved some phone time in that moment. But
I agree.
Something, a game.
I know. He seemed sweet. I felt bad for him.
Yeah, seriously. Who are some of the other guys that have caught your attention? Like who are you? You know, you can just describe them. I will probably disgustingly know their names. So
yeah,
just,
I don't know their names.
So freestyle.
The guy that Gabby went out with the earring,
Nate. Yes,
Nate. Well, I was surprised at first that like she was feeling him, but then when I saw him on the date, I was like, I really thought he had this very cool vibe, and he feels very mature and very deep, and it almost felt like he wasn't showing it enough on the date. Like he was being really lovable and likable in the interviews, and then when he was with her, he was just kind of like goofy. But I was just dying when he like opened up about his daughter, because it was so sweet and so beautiful. And then it cuts to Gabby and she's like, as soon as he said it, I was like, I don't want to be a mom. I was like, that was your first thought?
I think she said, I don't know if I'm ready to be a mom.
Yes.
And, which is, you know, interpret it however you will. But that's why Gabby's great. She can't she has no filter. She just says what she's thinking. Like Rachel would be like, it's so sweet how much he loves his daughter. And like, I could totally see myself as his daughter's mom. Like she, you know, she would just play along with it. But Gabby's like, I don't know if I'm ready for kids.
I know, but it confused me because she started crying. So I'm like, this is confusing. Like if you're crying, then you're really moved by it, which, you know, she should be. But then off camera, she's like, oh, he said it. And I like freaked out. And so it was like mismatched to me.
I think she's conflicted about motherhood because of her own relationship with her mom, which candidly I don't completely remember, except for the fact that she's like not really in the picture.
I don't really remember the details of it either, but that makes sense. And that's sad that she's going to have to I love that they're opening up and admitting things like this. I do feel like the show has gotten a little bit more real in the last couple of years, and people are being a little bit more themselves and a little bit more open.
This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code Visible24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
So I did a Instagram snoop on Nate. It's not really a snoop when you go on The Bachelorette. It's just, due diligence, really. Nate does not have a lot of pictures. His first photo is from 2018. And he has none of his daughter. And those that he does have are like pretty artsy. They're like travel, photography.
Oh my
and
God.
Like, just like some like serious stuff. So
like basically the dream Instagram when you stalk a guy.
Yes. I am positive it was not always this way. I think that Nate curated it. And I support that. Like, protect your daughter and present your best self if you're going on TV. Like, this is the behavior I'd like to see. A man who's like savvy about how he's presenting himself. So
I agree.
I thought that was a plus. I was like, more people should do this. Like, get rid of your problematic Instagrams or just, if he wants to protect his daughter, great. I'm not accusing him of having anything problematic, but like more people should do that.
The problem is that a lot of guys, especially guys who are going to The Bachelor, they don't realize that having like cheesy selfies is so gross on Instagram. So they don't know to hide it. They don't know that they should be hiding it because they think that they're like showing their best side. But it's just devastating to see how many men are comfortable living that like cheesy selfie life.
I know. Do you feel you judge women as much as men for the cheesy selfie life?
Listen, women are like expected to and assumed to have more vanity than men, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that there's a like more leniency for women who are being really vain and like superficial than there are about men. Like you kind of want a guy to be above that. And so when they're not, it's like not cute. But don't be confused. I judge women also.
Okay, good. Just to be clear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the basis of this podcast and the entire Bachelor franchise. So
okay, great.
I'm glad we're on the same page
we are.
about that one. Also, Nate is friends with Pilot Pete.
I didn't know that.
Dustin from Hannah's season. Dustin and Pilot Pete are currently roommates in New York. Okay. So he definitely got some tips on like how to present himself from his friends. But again, I like it. I don't hate that. Like that's great.
No, I like him. I think, and it seems like from the scenes for the future, he's around for a while, and I like that.
Yeah, and it seems like he goes out with both of them too. So I like this.
It's gonna get really dicey.
Yeah. How did you feel about Mario, who got the first impression rose from Gabby, getting some time with Rachel and kind of like them hanging out? Like, what do you think? If you were going on this show, like, how would you approach it? Like, would you just like want to divvy them up? Would you be like, do you call dibs? Like, I don't even know what's right. I don't know what I would do.
First of all, I felt nothing for Mario. And I was really surprised he got a first impression rose because he didn't leave a great first impression.
No, I would say I don't feel nothing. I feel anti. I'm just like, no thanks. He seems too cheesy.
Yeah, he's just like not doing anything, and I don't see him ending up with them. And so I was bummed that was a first impression rose that went out. But I felt kind of like Gabby. It was Gabby who gave it to him, right?
Yeah.
I felt like she kind of like didn't know who else to give it to because she wasn't really like that impressed with anybody. And so she just picked a nice person, which I can appreciate that. The part where she saw him like dipping Rachel or something, right? Or like doing a workout.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, these guys are in a tough position because you want to like weigh your options. Who likes me more? So who do I have like, who's a better option for me? Who am I getting more attention from? And then also, who do I like more? And you can't you kind of have to decide really quick and early before you get to know them. Right. Because if you play the both sides, these girls are not going to be down for that. So I don't think he like did anything terrible, but I think it's not like a smart long play. Like you should probably pick one person and like focus on them
and stick to it. I know, but you just don't know what's going to evolve. Like the hardest part about the two Bachelorettes is like getting the opportunity to like explore a connection, as they say, you know, like if you see Gabby already exploring it, if you're Rachel, you go after it. I honestly don't know what the answer is.
It's like, it's really not a perfect scenario. I had thought before the show aired this season that maybe they would each have their own group of guys.
Yeah.
And that maybe like if one girl was like, I'm not feeling this one anymore, then like they would have an opportunity for the other girl to save them or something, like for herself.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
So that there wouldn't be so much confusion. But that's not how it is. So
no. It's definitely not.
I will say that even though it's good to have a villain, I was really happy that the guy Eric got sent home. Is that his name?
Yeah, I think so. The one who got sent home, yes.
Because he was such a bad vibe. And I really thought it was funny that the guys told him he was condescending and then the girls told him he was condescending. And I'm like, bro, you might want to like listen to the feedback because you're clearly condescending.
That was another reason why Nate was so great when he was talking about how, you know, trying to like control their sex lives is a, you know, manipulation.
I really liked his like feminist rant. I was very into
Me too.
that.
I loved it. I mean, I keep talking about this, but it's very hard for me to like divorce the show from the moment we're living in right now. So like I feel more anger towards some of these situations than maybe I would have 2 years ago or whatever. So
I mean, that's fair. The world is quickly falling apart.
Yeah. So, you know, I thank you so much, Nate. Nate's clearly a keeper.
Yeah, I really liked it. Although I kind of want him to like redo the swish side hair thing. Yeah, I'm just feel like we could, you know, simplify it. It's like distracting to me to see it like always to one side, you know?
One thing this show has really done for me is normalize male jewelry. Because when you were like Nate with the earring, like the earring would have really stuck out to me, but I just kind of like breezed right past it. And the previous Nate from Michelle's season, he also had like a dangly earring that
I don't remember
really
him.
like caught my eye a lot. But now I just like, I'm used to it. I'm like, okay, male jewelry. Sure. Okay. I accept.
Yeah.
I don't accept in real life, but I accept on the show, I guess.
He's really peacocking with like the side part and the earring, that combo.
Nate knows that he has it. He's also, as I mentioned previously, an electrical engineer. He seems like a very sweet father. I mean, Nate is like definitely great on paper, and so far seems great, and as a human too. So we'll see. Let's talk about the Speedos. It's been a very controversial aspect of this week. Many people just really infuriated that they had them wear Speedos. What was your reaction?
Why is it controversial?
Because it's like, you know, if they while women wear bikinis a lot, if they had them wear something like even more scantily clad or more skimpy, it would be like people would be freaking out over asking women to do that.
Right. I mean, listen, I think that there are socially acceptable things to ask people to do in real life. And then there's socially acceptable things to ask someone who agreed to be on the show and signed like a 45-page contract and like probably took Polaroids of themselves naked to get the job. So I think like we're not watching real life here, right? You go on the show and you know that your body is a part of it and that you're going to be asked to do embarrassing things and they're always going to find a way to get you guys, you know, in a jacuzzi together. So, I mean, yeah, it's like silly, but are we going to like suddenly pretend like this show has to be sort of like the best that America has to offer in terms of values? I mean, no, like the girls want to, you know, analyze their abs and probably how big the bulge is in their Speedo.
Yeah, of course. It's just, I just don't think it's an attractive way to like interface with a man. I mean,
nothing about a man in a Speedo turns me on or does anything for me. So that I agree with you. That is like not cute. So I guess I would say I'm offended by it just because I think it's like, you know, unattractive gross to see guys like in weird Speedos.
Gabby was excited about it though. So I guess, you know, and so was Rachel.
I think it's funny when girls are like guys have much more of a physical visual thing that they love to see, you know, but I typically think that guys' attractiveness is really much more of like a vibe. It's confidence. It's like a feeling. Sure. It's how they carry themselves. It's how they talk to you. And so I always find it really surprising when women are like excited to see a guy
take it off.
Yeah, like show us those pecs. I'm like, you could see a guy making terrible conversation and she's like, I was just distracted by his pecs. And I'm like, who cares about pecs when a guy is like speaking gibberish, you know?
I completely agree with you. I don't think like I would never want to go to like Chippendales in Vegas, like and like the Magic Mike live show.
I actually think that sounds fun, but only because it's funny and ironic. It's not because you're like, I got to go upstairs. I'm so turned on.
Agreed. I just also hate Vegas, so I'm like, no thanks. But I could see what you're saying. Like it's like a fun trip, but yeah, it's not like a hot thing. And like a stripper at a bachelorette party is also like a funny thing to do, but like not like actually hot.
I'm shocked that they can recover with these guys after their embarrassing entrances. Like that would be enough for me to be like, please don't come in the house. I can't with the weird line you just pulled. It's just so like to me, you don't want to see a guy like being like so try hard. You want to see a guy just kind of like, I don't know, like be a little more
own the moment.
Yeah, like be a little more effortless.
Yeah. Well, if you're agreeing to go on the show, you obviously have a threshold for that or a high tolerance. But
true.
I think we were pointing about like the attractiveness being in how so many different things that's like related to their presence. I feel like we really see it with how the guys talk to them, like, what they talk about, how engaged they are, how they make them feel. Like that's what Logan has going with him for him so far. That, both Rachel and Gabby like him, is that though I think he seems like he's full of shit on TV, in the moment when he's like, you're so brave for continuing this journey. And Rachel's like, thank you. That means so much to me.
And then he's like, I'll be right back, Gabby. You're also so brave for being here.
Like that guy just planned a few lines and it worked really well.
Yeah.
But they obviously you probably must get worn down from these guys being really disingenuous and having no connection. So when someone shows like what seems like genuine interest, it must be just, you're like addicted to it. You just want to take more and more shots of that.
Yeah. So. No, I agree. I mean, the guys surprised me in episode 2. I felt like they, I don't know, they had more like interesting personalities than I was expecting from them. They, there's more than meets the eye.
Yes, definitely agree. One thing we've been talking a lot about is Rachel's style. And one of my coworkers pointed out to me that perhaps I'm projecting my own like discomfort with Rachel's look onto her. Rachel apparently told the stylist that she was going for a mother of the bride vibe. There was an interview in Entertainment Weekly with the stylist Carrie Fettman who said that's what Rachel said she wanted.
She actually said that?
Apparently, yes.
Wait, why would she ever want to look like the mother of a bride?
I have no idea. Especially because she does now look very matronly. I find it super weird.
Because Gabby has like cute style. Like Gabby was wearing like last season like plaid sweater with like a mini skirt and like was leaning into like the 90s aesthetic, and I feel like she has like cute 90s style. And Rachel definitely has kind of dowdy style.
Yeah.
And
so apparently what Rachel said is her go-to style is mother of the bride.
Crazy.
And she doesn't necessarily want to look that way, but it's what she feels like she picks. And then Carrie, the stylist, is like, okay, let's try to do that, but 10 years younger. And someone sent me a DM that I thought was a really good note, that it feels like with Rachel's style, they don't know how to make her look hot if it doesn't involve showing her boobs. And she doesn't have a lot of cleavage. I thought she looked really good. I mean, that she might, but she's not showing it. I thought she looked really good at the rose ceremony in that black dress. It had like kind of like a V towards her natural waist. But I'm just sort of curious, like, I know you work in fashion. Like, what should Rachel be wearing? And like, how could she look, mother of the bride 10 years younger, but less dowdy?
I was really confused by the choice of the red dress she wore on her one-on-one because it didn't fit. It did not fit her. It didn't fit her properly. It was like digging into the sides and like pushing her boobs down, and it was like really high, and it was like, it didn't fit, right? So it wasn't flattering because it didn't fit her. And when you have big boobs, it is hard to dress for your body without really like putting your tits out. So to me, I feel like Rachel could have a much like chicer kind of monotone, cool, like subtle vibe, because she can look like wearing she kind of leans towards like the ice skater dresses, like very prom-y. And I feel like she would be really cool because she's curvy and she has a beautiful face and she's got great hair. I feel like she could really wear like high-waisted, like cool trousers that like cinch in at the waist with like a, white and like an oversized man shirt. Like I feel like that would be a really cool look on her. And so I wish she would lean into that a little more. But listen, it's really hard to dress when you have like a big chest and you don't know if you should hide it or you should accentuate it. Because I'm sure if she accentuated it, we would be like, girl, chill. What are you doing? They're really out there.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm so desensitized to that look because it's what all of the Real Housewives do that I would just be like, okay, yeah, that seems about right. But I just feel like they also, to your point about like making her look more sleek, she wore a lot of like one-shouldered dresses last season, and like she could wear like halters too. They could just be doing more, I think, like with like a if she's comfortable with it, like a more like form-fitting dress that's like has like a higher neck or whatever, like a sleeveless turtleneck dress.
It's probably like that. It's probably hard too because Gabby has such a like easy body to wear clothes in. You know, clearly she just seems like she's like naturally very like lean and toned, and like it's probably really easy for her to look cute in a dress. And it's like I was thinking about it, watching like how hard it is for women, and we're like have such a shitty relationship with our bodies, and then to have a dueling bachelorette that doesn't have that problem of having to like figure out how to like fit your, you know, big boobs into a dress. It's got to just feel like I would feel so self-conscious. I'd be so stressed about that feeling because you're like, what if she looks better than I look? Or, you know, even though Rachel's really beautiful and she has a great body.
I've harped a lot on like how bad her style is, but it's like not her fault. And I'm just like, if she thinks she looks good, I feel bad that I'm like, she looks shitty. But at the same time, I think you're right. Like, there's just such like a complex, I think so many people, particularly women, have such a complex relationship with their body and how they dress that then having to like be stacked up against someone else and then watching yourself back, it must be really
excruciating.
Really
and like, listen, guys also are really, you know, particular about what they like and what they don't like. And so all of a sudden, you know, a handful of guys are saying, oh, I'm here for the other girl. And you're on camera in front of a billion people and you're like, kill me right now that I have to deal with this and like feel awkward in my body. By the way, maybe she doesn't feel awkward in her body.
Yeah, maybe she loves how she looks. And if so, I'm really happy for her. I just think that like they could improve her style. I also, as I've been watching, I just feel like there's the gulf between their styles is so huge. I'm not asking them for them to be like matchy. I'm not even asking them to be like a girl group, but like, couldn't they just be a little bit more coordinated? Like for this date, we're going with like J. Crew catalog chic. And for this cocktail party, we are going with like Hervé Leger. Like, I don't know. Like, can't they just like coordinate more? It really bothers me.
I have to say that I really like being able to see their personalities in their outfits though. I like to see the differences. Like, I like to see like, okay, Rachel's clearly more of like a small town girl and she hasn't like found her style yet. And Gabby's a little bit older and she's sort of like found her cool girl vibe. And so I'm always curious, like, how the guys react to the different vibes that they bring to the table and how, you know, how they choose their outfits. It says so much about you as a person, the way that you dress.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, do you think we can learn a lot about you from Favorite Daughter?
I think so. I mean, Sarah and I, you know, both try to make things that we both like, but it doesn't always happen. So there are times where we have fights and Sarah loves something and I'm like, Sarah, that's so cheesy. And I lose out. And then I'm like, okay, well, my name's on it, so I better embrace it. And there's the vice versa happens the same way, the opposite. So, you know, we just have to hope that we represent two different kinds of girls and that we're both going to, you know, there's something for each one.
They should have had you on for styling them, some kind of fashion date.
That would have been so fun. It's really rude they actually didn't ask for us to come back. I mean, not come back, go be there the first time. Because we were replaced by Hillary Duff.
So rude. Well, whatever. Was that with Clayton? Yeah, it was with Clayton.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Do you care about Clayton and Susie anymore?
No, it's so funny because it's like my whole world is focused on these people when it's on. And then you talk to me 6 months later, I couldn't even tell you the names of the people that were on the show the previous season. Couldn't tell you.
I know. A friend of mine says he just drags the folder to trash and moves on.
It's literally,
like, it's gone.
It's so much. It's very close to how I feel. I really just like forget.
I just don't really care about them. Are you following any other Bachelor Nation gossip? Like, how much do you keep up with what's going on in the niche?
I don't think I follow that deeply. I mean, I follow Amanda Hirsch on Instagram, Not Skinny But Not Fat, and I feel like she kind of keeps me up to date on some of those things. There was recently some kind of like scandalous breakup with someone named Michelle, right?
Yes, Michelle the Bachelorette broke up with Nate.
Yeah,
Nate people seem to think he broke up with her. This week's hot drama is Nick Viall's at the center of it. He was like having a fight with Katie Thurston, the Bachelorette, like 2 times ago, and then Caitlin Bristow and Blake Horstman both weighed in, and Nick's just stirring stuff up. So
I like Nick. I don't know why, but I feel like he's created a different vibe for Bachelorette and Bachelor stuff, and he like kind of says it like it is, and like cuts through the bullshit and like causes, I don't know, he's like controversial in a way that feels weirdly authentic to him.
Yeah, he also has created a new niche for himself, and like physically as well. He's gotten like so many tattoos in the last year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's a whole new Nick. I don't know. He's thriving.
He's like the Ryan Seacrest of reality TV or something.
Well, that's a huge compliment.
It is a big compliment.
Very accomplished gentleman. So it's really, that means a lot.
I know. Well, I just mean
Nick's
like
listening.
Ryan's not controversial at all, but Nick just has found a way to like keep himself at the center of every conversation.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, I've talked about him on many podcasts recently. So here we are. It's all happening for Nick. What other reality shows do you watch at the moment?
I'm a real Vanderpump fan, but it's kind of like, I don't know if it's done or if it's coming back in a different form.
You know,
right?
Schwartz and Sandy's just opened.
Okay. I was wondering, I saw some post about that had a photo of them, and I didn't know what it was about, but that seems like a place I should probably go have a meal.
It's in the Franklin Village, I believe, across from the Scientology castle. So.
I could drive there.
Yeah. Okay. Report back. If you go, let me know. You can do a field report on this pod.
Okay, great. What other reality shows I watch? I know I watch other stuff.
Southern Charm?
Don't watch Southern Charm. That honestly is annoying because Not Skinny But Not Fat watches it a lot, and there's like 50 slides of Southern Charm.
It's a real, like, it's my only guilty pleasure. Like, I don't feel guilty about watching reality TV. First of all, it's part of my job. And second of all, it's just entertainment.
Yeah.
But this I feel guilty about because the people are like so horrible. Like, there's just a lot of them are like indefensible, but I also like love it. I look forward to watching it every time.
My little sister is in England right now, and she sent me a clip from a TV show she's watching over there where like a girl is on the stage, and then all these like guys are around in a half circle in front of her, and like a gate comes up in front of them, or like a shade, and it shows them full frontal. Like it just shows full.
Oh yeah. I've heard about this show, but I forget the name of it.
She like chooses who to go out with based on his penis.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. So that's a show I think I could watch.
They go for it in the UK. Do you watch Love Island? It's a
huge commitment. I feel like I'm like disappointing you. I can't. Montana was just telling me how good it is and that I should watch it. And I'm into Love Is Blind. It's over now, but I liked it.
Great show.
Yeah, Selling Sunset. I watched Selling Sunset.
Selling the OC is coming at the end of August. I'm really excited.
Ooh. Jason Oppenheim was my realtor 7 years ago.
Wow. Did he do a good job?
Yeah, I bought my townhouse with him, and he got it for me. I will say that I am like devastated that the fashion world has decided to take Christine seriously and bring her into the world. I'm very confused by that.
The New York Times profile she got was really weird.
Like, does she have an affair with someone who like runs? Yeah. Like,
it's really weird.
Fucking Hollywood. I'm so confused as to how she's getting this.
I mean, too. It's sort of like not fair. She's actually not a nice person.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's like really bizarre to reward people for being like horrendous on reality TV. I don't get that.
I agree. But
also, she doesn't have good style. She has like the tackiest style ever.
So tacky.
How is she at the front row?
So tacky.
To me, that's just like evidence that the fashion world is so panicked to be relevant and to like hook on to whatever is culturally relevant. And that's reality TV. And so they think like, okay, I guess we have to have her in the front row. And I'm like thinking, if I'm Anna Wintour and I'm seeing Christine Quinn 2 seats from me, I'm like offended.
Does she even know who that is? I hope for her sake she doesn't.
I don't know. But I don't know. It kind of like kills the whole,
the elitism, honestly.
Yeah,
of it.
Exactly. It's so
the exclusiveness of it.
Yes, it's supposed to be so exclusive and so aspirational, and you're supposed to have to like earn your place to be invited to a fashion show. You know, like you show you have great style, you're really relevant, you're like, you add some like cool flair to it. And I'm
or
just
you're doing something like new and different, or you're innovating, or you're representing a point of view or a group of people like hasn't had access to fashion before. And Christine is none of that. It's like,
no. Like
so
I honestly,
bizarre.
I really love like the Emma Chamberlains of the world being brought into fashion because she has really cute style. She's like funky and like real and young and like funny when she interviews people at the Met, and like her whole vibe is like cute and it totally makes sense. And it helps fashion kind of like stay at the forefront of pop culture. But Christine, I don't get that one.
I know. Just give me Zendaya in a Valentino dress every day of the week instead.
Yes. I just don't like people being rewarded for such awful behavior.
Also, she doesn't have, as far as I know, she doesn't have a point of view. She doesn't like, as you said, she's just really tacky. Not here for it. Erin, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun the second time. You know, second date magic is hard to capture because especially if the first is like pretty good. So, you know, I hope you'll accept my rose.
I will accept your rose. I'm here for the right reasons, and I want to come home and meet your family.
Thank you to Erika Cervantes for producing this episode. Thank you to Montana from Erin's team for coordinating this and making it happen. And Callie and I will be back on Monday night. Thank you so much for listening.